Second trip to Haiti was worse than the first trip, for sure. We landed in the Dominican Republic, and there was me and three other guys that went. And when we landed there, we couldn't get into Port-au-Prince and get across the country. Well, we didn't want to do that because it was such a difficult avenue to go. So I figured if we went to Puerto Plata in the Dominican Republic, we could come across by road into Haiti to Cap Haitian, and it would be easy. Little did I realize that turned out to be the trip from hell.
In 1984, Brooks and his wife Kathy had traveled to Haiti on a dive trip. While exploring a reef, Brooks found a 70-pound silver bar. Due to the country's strict dictatorship, he was unable to bring this artifact home. However, from that day forward, he vowed to someday return for the bar. He devoted his life to learning about treasure hunting, and in 1988, finally managed to return to Haiti. As determined as he was to succeed on this trip, he had no idea how many more obstacles would arise for himself and his companions.
So after we drove up to the Haitian border in this nice white van on Todd Road with AC going. It was beautiful. When we got to the Haitian border, they wouldn't let the van across, and they wouldn't let the Dominican driver go across the border. So we had to unload the van and pile out. Now here we were with metal detectors, suitcases, all these things that we're carrying. We finally get through customs and immigration on the Haitian border, which is basically, give me some money and you can go at the time. So, we whipped out, we had brought 20s and ones. And so I was trying to give them some ones. They wouldn't take that. So I had to give them a couple of 20s to get us across the border. Well, when we got across, we pretty much came to a footpath through the jungle, and we're looking at each other going, oh my God. So we start trekking off through the jungle to the first little town that we've come to. Like, it was only a few miles, but it seemed like it was forever because it was like 95 degrees, 100 degrees, and sweat just pouring out of us, and it was miserable. When we got to the first town, there was a small, let's say, fort or a army headquarters or an army outpost, Haitian army outpost. Well, they took us in, they grabbed us up and took us to that and brought us in, all of us under armed guard. And they brought us in this room, and there's desks there and no chairs, and we're all standing there, and they're talking to us. Not one of us can speak French Creole. And they're yelling at us in French Creole, and we're going in English. What did we do? So they grabbed me. I must have leader written on my forehead. So they grabbed me and take me out and put me in a Jeep in between these two Haitian soldiers. And off they drive me into the jungle. Now what I'm thinking is they're taking me out in the jungle. They're going to shoot me. One by one, they're going to take us out and shoot us. Well, what they did is they were taking me to the border to make sure that we actually paid and came across the right way, legally. But I didn't know that, and the guys that we left back at the barracks didn't know that. So they thought that they took me out and they were going to kill me, and they were going to come back after them. So their plan was to jump the guards, bust the chain that was holding the rifles in the rifle rack, and shoot their way out and get back across the border. And they were just ready to do that when I pulled back up in front of the place. When we finally got to Cormier Plage, it had been in somewhat disrepair because the tourism had stopped since Baby Doc was doing his thing. He'd basically taken the country and taking the money out of it and everything like that. So no tourists had been there for quite a while. And we had to go diving to get the silver bar that we had went on this trip to get. And so we had to fill up some tanks, scuba tanks that were there. And when we started the compressor, the Haitian that was taking care of it started it. It was spitting oil all over the place. It was burning oil, I mean, thick smoke. I'm going like, oh, this is bad. This is really bad. Because they're filling up the tanks with this compressor that hadn't been serviced, and it was just a piece of crap. So I know that there's bad air going into that scuba tank. So I went down to the site where we had left it. I had to find it again where we had left the ingot. And Adi was up above me about 10 feet or 15 feet, and I was down there looking. And then all of a sudden, apparently, I just spit out my regulator and started swimming down deeper. And it was a mixture of bad air with oil in it. I guess of being over emotionally charged from the trip across the island, having a bunch of cocktails the night before, all of the above, and then going diving, which is a no-no any which way you look at it. But we didn't have enough time to rest up to do it the right way. So I basically just went off the deep end and going down deep. And Adi saw me, dove down and grabbed me, started pulling me back, stuck the regulator back in my mouth and dragged me back up. And I don't remember most of that. And so we really didn't find the bars that we went for. And we just knew we had to, it wasn't going to be done on this trip. As much as I wanted it to be done, it wasn't going to be done on that trip.